The Bombers found a spark last week, winning their first game of the 2025 Adelaide Plains season by a whopping 10 goals. However, this afternoon, a grand final fancy in the Packers look to extinguish that spark and win their third game in the past 4 weeks. Presented by Filming Footy and Dartfish, it's the Hamley Bridge Bombers hosting the Balaklava Packers live and free from Hamley Bridge Oval for the Adelaide Plains Football League game of the round. My name is Lewis McKenna and I'm excited to bring you this action here. Of course, Adelaide Plains Footy League live on Filming Footy. Thank you for joining me, and interesting matchup between these two. We've just seen the reserves wrap up as well, and Hamley Bridge comprehensively getting the win there, 14-8-92 to 4-3-27. Hamley Bridge now moving to 3 wins and 3 losses. Balaklava falling down the ladder, 2 wins and 4 losses in that one. As you can see on the camera as well, it is an absolutely beautiful day out here. Not a breeze to speak of, barely a cloud in the sky, and fantastic weather, top of 20 degrees, so neither team should be affected by the weather in any way at all. Coming into this game, Hamley Bridge looking for yet another win. They've been competitive in most of their games so far this year, and certainly will want to keep going in this one. Some of our streaming partners bringing you this game as well, live and free. Dartfish, of course, I mentioned before. Sportal going to be the scoreboard here this afternoon. Classic Catches, Filming Footy. Archie's Thongs to the player of the game, custom by ORTC, of course. High Five E-Bikes and Kimberley Accommodation Group. And we thank the APFL, of course. APFL have plenty of sponsors that bring our great game to you. Viswater, Sports Power, Zorich Group, Sharon, Belgravia Apparel, Synergy Signs, Mango Inc. and McCracken Ford Balaklava. And, of course, the Plains Producer, the local paper, as both teams break out and get into the middle. So we're about to get underway here. Adelaide Plains action. Round 6, Hamley Bridge versus Balaklava here at the beautiful Hamley Bridge Oval. Sitting the opposite side here, and fantastic thank you to the Hamley Bridge Footy Club getting us set up here in the truck bed once again. We were a bit wind affected last week at 2 Wells, but not a breeze to speak of as the teams get together, about to get back underway. So last week it was Hamley Bridge with a 60-point victory over Virginia, 107-47. Balaklava faded late in the fourth quarter against a 2 Wells side who just pulled away late, but underway here trying to bounce back against Hamley, going inside forward 50 immediately, and Hamley are able to retreat and straight into the hands of Angus Judd, the captain. Chips a ball over the top and climbing over the back, trying to rip down a mark. His second effort was good. Handball over the top, trying to get back onto it, and gets tackled, does Judd, so has to flick a handball out to Kane. Extra handball over the top, has to just chip a ball over, and it's a handy one into the lap of McCabe. That's Samuel McCabe. And a handball just went a little too strong over the back. Balaklava get the ball back through Guy. Little chip ball inside, and Jake Butterfield chips to the outer side, and they go long down the wing, but intercepted well. Ball going to the ground and trickling towards the boundary line. And getting tackled over the line eventually there is James Batty. Right over the outer side here at Hamley Bridge Oval. So to hurl the ball back in. Of course, Hamley Bridge going to the right of your screen. Getting tackled near the boundary line there again, so umpire Payne holding the ball there. A little lateral kick inside there, trying to find Bailey Arthur. Just left a little bit for him to do there, so gets tackled immediately, and umpire's going to ball it up right near the corner of the square. Reaching over the top and tapping it down in front, but quickly intercepted by the captain in Judd. Flicks the ball into the corridor, and trying to rip it away was Redden. Gets it up again and flicks it back to Judd, so had plenty of the ball early to start this one, his third or fourth touch. Little chip kick over the top is intercepted there by Jason McFarlane. Handballs the ball away, but gets intercepted once again by the Bombers, and they cut through the corridor because they've got a couple players free. Have to move the ball by hand, but quickly set upon. Handballs the ball back once again, but ripped down in a solid tackle there was Edward McCabe. but a ripping tackle made by Gutschke. A little chipping ball inside to Arthur. Decides to switch right over to the other side. Battle goes long down the line, and a ripping grab taken, and quickly they go, the Bombers. Want to send it back the other way to a one-on-one. Gets knocked over the back, a little shallow entry inside forward 50. Ball's in dispute, so he just has to snap around the body. Now it's a 2-on-1 here in favour of Balaklava, and good enough to take the mark through Luke Guy. And quickly they try to rip off the corridor, and they do get into the lap of Arthur, but he drops the mark. Nearly called for holding the ball. He's able to trickle the ball away, but they chip the ball back inside. One-on-one ball gets knocked down in front. Goes in the direction of Gutschke, but just dribbles over the top of him. Jason McFarlane fighting for it underneath for the Packers, and near the paint of 50, they're going to ball it up. So the ruckman go at it, gets knocked down over the top. McFarlane, little handball over the top, and the Packers have some space. Arthur goes long, going to go towards the boundary line, may trickle over, but it does eventually get walked over the boundary line by Jake Butterfield. A beautiful day here at Hamley Bridge. One tiny little cloud all the way off in the distance. Other than that, it is as clear as you like. It's the first day of winter tomorrow, but you wouldn't believe it. So deeper in attack here for the Packers. Hamley Bridge trying to retreat. Neither side yet to score. And trying to move it out through hand, but quickly set upon. Umpire puts his whistle away. Michael now trying to work his way around. Chips a little ball over the top into a lap of a teammate who snaps around the body. Has he kicked the first? He has. Will Dixon is the first on the board of this game on the Sportal scoreboard. One straight for the Balaklava Packers. The Hamley Bridge Bombers yet to score. So Will Dixon kicks his third of the season and his first of the afternoon, of course, and the first of the afternoon for the game. Balaklava now up by a goal. Dixon was one of the best on last week against 2 Wells. Did a fantastic job there. So moving back towards the middle now. Gets knocked down in front, and both midfields going at it. Tackled by Michael, but gets kicked out towards the advantage of the Balaklava Packers, and they're able to move the ball by hand into the hands of the ruckman in Bo Warner. Going inside forward 50, nearly a mark ripped down, comes over the back, and chasing the ball over the line there was Jared Miller, but he couldn't get to it. So through for a minor score. So 7 for Balaklava. Yet to score are the Hamley Bridge Bombers on the Sportal scoreboard. A long kick up the wing now on centre wing. Looking to retreat a little bit here. The Balaklava Packers now to a loose player on the side here. And Luke Guy has to handball the ball over the top. Has trapped on the boundary line here, so has to retreat back to Guy. Well done here by Hamley Bridge, just a tackle, but Guy did well enough to get the kick away. Lands out in front of the Bombers winger and picked up on the floor. A solid pick up there by Ethan Kane. Handballing the ball off and going inside forward 50. One-on-one ball here. Beaten to it by Caleb McFarlane, but quickly set upon on the ground. In fact, actually called high. So he'll win the free kick. So going long to the outer side, and mark's taken there by Jacob Butterfield. So had a short option early. Decides he's going to send this one longer down the line. Sends a little bit of a torp, and it does land into the lap of Bailey Arthur. Maybe not what he intended, but he goes all the way over to the other side, and it is a solid kick into the lap of Jason McFarlane. Little 45-degree ball was really nice. And Lachlan Hendry now to line one up. So Hendry, we're a little far away from this one in the commentary box, but probably has this one from about 30 metres out, only a slight angle, maybe about 15 degrees or so. And as we mentioned before, no breeze to speak of at all. Hendry has 6 goals on the season. All 6 of those coming in round 3 versus United, and gets his first there. So Balaklava now moving to 2-1-13 on the Sportal scoreboard. Hamley Bridge yet to score. Hendry onto the board. So a really solid start here for Balaklava. Looking for that bounce-back win after losing to Two Wells last week. They were gallant. In fact, they went into three-quarter time 3 points in front in that game, but ended up falling away and losing the game by 34. Knocking it down in front there was the ruckman in Warner. And Balaklava have had all the possession here in the last couple of minutes. Hacking the ball off the ground is Jacob Butterfield going inside, and a mark's been ripped down. Jared Miller, ripping grab over the top. One of the leading goal scorers so far in the APFL season in 2025. Has kicked 13 goals this year, and he'll trot through and kick the third of the afternoon. And a really solid few minutes here for Balaklava. Now moving to a 19-point advantage on the Sportal scoreboard. It's 3-1-19. Hamley Bridge yet to score, and just clinical ball movement here for the Balaklava Packers. So where do the Bombers find the edge here? They had a couple inside 50s early on in this one, but since then it's been all Balaklava. Knocking it down in front and quickly set upon as Will Dixon. So balled up once more. Ruckman go at it, gets knocked down in front. Balaklava get the clearance once again through Michael. Going long towards the forward 50 once again. Picked up inside by the Bombers and handballed out by Manuel. Close to the boundary line here, working around. Gets handballed over the top. Michael fighting for it. Does pick it up now. Gets set upon by 3 or 4 Bombers, and they're going to ball it up right near the 50-metre arc. Ruckman to go at it once again. Get knocked down in front. Quickly smothered. Falls into the lap of Arthur. Handballs the ball back. Dixon retreats, and they go back inside forward 50. Nearly a mark taken, but looks like a free kick has been paid. And it has to Jake Butterfield. So Butterfield pushed right up against the boundary here. Has a sharp angle. We'll have to kick it from about 35, 40 metres at least. But no breeze to speak of. A really calm and clear day here at Hamley Bridge. Has the 1 goal for the season. Ball's on its way. You've got to watch the boundary, the goal umpire here as it rolls through for a minor score. So moving to a 20-point advantage early in this one at Balaklava. As they quickly go long down the line, do Hamley Bridge. But it's intercepted once again by the Peckers as they go inside to Bailey Arthur. So he looks like he's going to have a crack from distance. So Arthur, pretty well straight in front. Only has 1 goal on the season coming last week against Two Wells. Has to kick this one from at least about 50 metres. Gives himself a little bit of space, sends the ball on its way, and he has put it through. A ripping goal for Bailey Arthur. And when there's no breeze to speak of, you can just put your foot through it and let it do all the work. They now move out to a 26-point advantage on the Sportal scoreboard. 4-2. Hamley Bridge Bombers yet to score. And Hamley Bridge have been acceptable this year, even in games that they've lost, and they've only won the 1 game coming in, of course, last week, defeating Virginia by 10 goals, but they haven't lost too many of their other games by much. Even going down to Two Wells by only 2 or 3 goals a few weeks ago. They quickly get a chance to go inside forward 50 here, and it's a good kick over the top, but just running under it there was McCabe and Henry McCabe. And quickly the Packers retreat. does flick out, and the ruckman in Bo Warner getting it on his boot, but does turn it over on the half-back line to Bayless. Chipping the ball across, and they look to cut it back through the corridor to the Bombers. Hacks a kick over the top, reaching out for it there was Redden. Does eventually get it on the second effort. Chips the ball over the top, but gets smothered out of bounds by the Packers defenders, and they're going to hurl it in about 50 metres around from Hamley Bridge's goal, looking for their first score on the Sportal scoreboard. So hurling it in. Ruckman go at it, does get knocked down. Well by Hamley Bridge. Fighting through there was Batty, but got wrapped up in the tackle. Well tapped down there inside by Shahinger. Gets hacked out of the pack, but goes out of bounds on the full for Hamley Bridge. But a positive minute at least to be able to get it inside their forward half. O'Leary Fletcher to take the kick from the boundary. Has the short option in Jared Miller, decides not to go there. He does get it now though off the handball and tries to chip a kick across, but it was well smothered by Simpson and quickly tackled to the ground. So they're going to ball it up on the boundary line. In fact, there was a free kick paid. They chip the ball across the Batty. Little chip kick inside is good, and Jacob Battle. Extra kick across, and here they go. Tom Michael. Extra pass, and Jacob Butterfield. Long ball down the line, looking for Michael is good, and solid mark taken. In fact, that's Jake Butterfield. So Jake Butterfield, probably about 60 from goal, pops it up into the pocket. Players go flying for it and eventually does get knocked over off the hands of McFarlane. Going to be balled in only around 10 metres around from the Balaklava goal. Just joined us, it's been an onslaught to start this one. Only 15 minutes through, and Balaklava have been off to a hot start, snapping out. Nilly was able to snap it through the goals there. Lachlan Hendry, but quickly tackled and smothered, and right at the top of the goal square here, it's going to be balled up in a dangerous position. To go down 5 goals would be a disastrous situation. Little ball off the boot there, nothing's going to go, so it's going to come back out, and Hamley Bridge Bombers defenders have to try and work together to try and retreat and get it out of this dangerous position. It does retreat only about 10 metres or so. So the ruckman will go at it once more, does get knocked down in front. Going to be snapping out of the pack, Arthur, but he decides to kick laterally all the way across into Battle, but it does eventually get picked up by the Bombers. They chip a little ball inside. Delina, little kick over the top to Simpson. He does bobble it, tries to work his way around, gets the extra little fist across, but straight to the Peckers once again. Battle. Little chip across, and they've got the space to get to work here through Butterfield. Jacob Butterfield decides to go to the one-on-one, and well led up at the contest there for the Peckers. Solid mark taken by Lachlan Hendry. Long kick down the line towards the forward 50. Huge pack merges. And players jump all over the ball there in the umpire circles. He's going to ball it up around 40 metres around, 50 metres around here from Balaklava's goal. Gets knocked down in front, and Michael gets the work, handballs it over the top, but ball falls to the ground, and Hamley Bridge pick the ball up, going to kick it close to the boundary line here, but Hendry's good enough to read it and take the mark for the Peckers. So going inside forward 50, climbing up and getting knocked down in front. Gets hacked out of the pack, not gone far enough, so they handball the ball out the top. Arthur going to it, but quickly set upon, and here go the Bombers through the middle of the ground, through to a one-on-one contest over the back, and a solid mark taken. So Shahinger thought about a little short option. Gets asked to move around, so he's going to have to kick this one just inside the paint of 50. He's kicked 4 goals so far this season, the ruckman and key forward. On his way. Kicks it from about 48. Looks like he's got the distance covered. He does, but just through for a minor score. The first of the afternoon for Hamley Bridge. One straight behind. 4-2-26 for Balaklava on the Sportal scoreboard. Going to the outer side are the Peckers. There's a pack and shoes and the umpire's circling. He's going to ball it up. A 25-point lead early in this one. It's balled up right near the paint of 50. Quick handball over the top there was good from Gutschke. They're trying to work it out here, the Peckers, through quick run coming from Will Dixon, bursting through the pack and going long down the line. It's a one-on-one contest, does fall over the back. Trying to get to work here, the Peckers underneath. Getting the handball out there was really good. Goes to a one-on-one contest, top of the square. Michael getting to work, handballs it out and kick through. Easy as you like. And solid work there from the Balaklava Peckers. And another goal put through there from Hendry. His second goal of the afternoon. He now moves to 8 goals on the season. And just like that, 32-1 on the scoreboard. Hendry with yet another goal. It's getting a little ugly here for Hamley Bridge at home. I want to respond pretty soon. So a 31-point margin so far in this one. We've still got a bit of time left in this first quarter. Only about 19 minutes gone. So back in the middle. Umpire to ball it up. Ruckman to go at it. Gets knocked down in front well there from Bo Warner. Players circling around it. Gets handballed out. And Hamley Bridge get the turnover again. But where do they go from here? Are they able to find something? Austin Redden on the outer side just beats him. Does get knocked out of bounds. Around 60 metres around from their goal, the Bombers. So they'll hurl the ball back in, and the two ruckmen will get to work. Rosenzweig and Warner. Rosenzweig gets the knockdown. Trying to rip through the pack well and handball it out the back was good there for the Bombers. But quickly set upon. And they're going to ball it up, not too far from the boundary line. So the ruckman to go back at it. Well picked up there by the key forward and eventually picks the ball out the back. But they have to retreat a lot of space just to try and hack it around their body and go to the paint of 50. Gets knocked down in front. It's a really good pick up there from Edward McCabe. Has to try and chip the ball over, but really good work there from the captain in Lachlan Michael. Gets knocked to the ground and they've got a bit of space here through McCabe to handball the ball across. Henry McCabe now going inside and well intercepted there by O'Leary Fletcher. Just knocks it through for a minor score. So the second behind here of the afternoon on the Sportal scoreboard for the Hamley Bridge Bombers. They now move to 2 behinds. 32 on the scoreboard for the Balaklava Peckers as it goes close to the boundary line. Working his way around there was Ruiz. And a good kick inside to Gutschke. He looks to switch it all the way across and good mark taken. Going long down the line and Butterfield sends a high ball up towards the paint of 50 and a good solid grab. Give him another opportunity here. In fact, this is actually not to the paint of 50. This is probably about 35 metres out. And an opportunity for Jared Miller to try and convert on his second. So on his way in, ball looks pretty good, pretty close, and has he knocked it through? He has, so he's put through his second goal of the afternoon. And they just keep it rolling here, Balaklava. Another goal on the board here for Jared Miller. His second of the afternoon, his 15th for the season. And on the Sportal scoreboard is now moving to 38 points, the Balaklava Peckers. 2 straight behinds for the Hamley Bridge Bombers, trailing by 6 goals in this one. And Miller proving to be a force in this season, not just in this game. So 22 minutes gone in this one. Can Hamley Bridge get their first goal of the afternoon? Handball over the top was good. Spinning out of the pack was Dixon. Extra handball out to the wing, and Gutschke gets to work. Does fumble it, but he's good enough with the recovery. Does get tackled in the end, and it should be called holding the ball. Hamley Bridge pick it up and go laterally, but intercepted well by the Packers. Just trying to charge through the middle. Does drop the ball, and it was a solid tackle made by Rosenzweig. Quickly going inside forward 50 of the Bombers, but it's all the Packers here. O'Leary Fletcher picking up the loose ball and chipping the ball outside. Gutschke, and an extra little pass out towards the boundary line. So Rue is the vice-captain. In fact, that was Battle. A good intercept mark there made by Rosenzweig. So kicks the ball long towards the 50, leading at the footy, the Hamley Bridge Bombers. Couldn't quite take the mark. Balaklava just hacked the ball back around. Rosenzweig once again under this. He couldn't take the mark. They just hacked the ball forward, but they can't get any meaningful possession at the moment. And the intercept mark taken by Batty. Just chips the ball laterally. So Battle goes long down the line to a pack and over the back, and mark nearly taken by Michael, the captain. Hands the ball off. Ball's on its way, top of the goal square. Players converging on it over the back, and an easy goal put through once again from Miller. His third goal of the afternoon, and the Balaklava Packers are on a roll here. Knocks through yet another one. His third goal of the afternoon. And just like that, they are out to a 42-point advantage on the Sportal scoreboard. An absolute massacre here at Hamley Bridge Oval. Certainly not what I expected coming into this one. 24 and a half minutes gone in this one, and it's just been a demolition job from Balaklava so far. A 42-point lead coming close to this first quarter conclusion. And Miller certainly an early contender for the Archies with 3 goals to his name. So ball up back in the middle. They have to get to work now, Hamley Bridge, but quickly they go back inside forward 50 once again, the Packers. Climbing up, and a rip and grab pulled down there. So this is going to be Hendry. And he's going to have an opportunity to try and kick his third of the first quarter. So not too much distance to speak of. No real wind assistance on this one. There is no breeze about. Just has to put his foot through it. Hendry coming into this one had 6 goals on the season. This for his third. On his way, kick looks good. Straight over the goal umpire's hat. Through for his third goal of the game. And this is an absolute demolition job here at the moment. Hendry connects on his third goal. We've got 6 goals between 2 players here at the moment. They break the 50 mark in the first quarter. And as easy as you like, 25 and a half minutes gone in this one. It's 50-2 on the Sportal scoreboard. This has quite taken me by surprise, literally. Hamley Bridge have been competitive in many of their games. Does get knocked down in front, and they get to work once again through Batty, going back inside forward 50, a one-on-one contest. Falls out the back and picked up well by McFarlane. Going close to goal, and have they kicked another one? They have. As easy as you like. I believe that may have been Miller over the back once again. I'll have to confirm that on my delayed replay, but I believe Miller's popped through yet another one. And it was ripping work there by McFarlane to get the handball over the top, and it was Miller through for his fourth goal of the first quarter. And a ripping goal for him. Now moving to 56 and a 54-point lead. The ball coming back into the middle, but 56 on the Sportal scoreboard. Just the 2 solitary behinds. And this is amazing this quarter. 56-2. How many can Miller kick? How many can Hendry kick? Quickly inside Batty. gets tackled to the ground and was paid for a dangerous tackle, and rightfully so. So much spoken about concussion problems. You've got to be careful with your tackling. Chips the ball towards the paint of 50, and they do go inside once again. Hamley Bridge forced to retreat. They hack around their body to a dangerous position. Vice-captain Ruiz is amongst it, but they go back inside forward 50 with a torp. Just any sort of dangerous ball into the lap once again to who other than Jared Miller. He is absolutely dominating this contest. And he could have a handful in the first quarter. Looks as if he's going to try and go the drop punt. Ball's on its way. You'll get an understanding for the reaction. He has put it through, so his 5th goal of the first quarter. Jared Miller has been absolutely on fire here. Pops through yet another one, and this is absolutely remarkable. 28 minutes gone. It is a 60-point lead to Balaklava. And I think all of the Hamley Bridge fans on the outer side at their home ground today would be absolutely shocked by this. Hamley Bridge have been fairly competitive in most of their games so far this year. And they won themselves against Virginia by 10 goals last week. So now being down by 10 goals, this would come as a bit of a shock. But they are able to go towards their forward 50 now, as there was a bit of contact there behind the ball. So downfield paid to Austin Redden. Goes to the top of the goal square, over the back, and a chance here to try and convert on a goal. Dribbled through as they do respond here for the first time through Henry McCabe. Dribbles through a goal in the first of the afternoon for the Hamley Bridge Bombers. They now move to 1-2-8 to 10-2-62 on the Sportal scoreboard. And Henry McCabe through for his first. His 3rd goal of the season as well. But this is just astonishing. And what a fast-moving game this is. We've seen 11 goals in just one quarter. 10 of which coming from the team in green. And you'd think the siren would be coming any time now. Obviously plenty of goals in a quarter. We're nearing the 30-minute mark. Gets brought up in the middle, and Warner's climbing over the top and quickly hopping it down to Dixon as he goes long inside forward 50 once again. Who's amongst it this time? And there's the siren for the first quarter of an amazing first quarter. If you've just joined us and wondering, is that a glitch on the scoreboard? It absolutely is not. 62-8 in the first quarter. I promise you it is the end of the first quarter in what has been a remarkable contest so far. Jared Miller with 4 goals in the first quarter has been phenomenal. In fact, 5 goals. I actually missed writing down one of his goals. And 3 goals to Lachlan Hendry. And another goal going the way of Will Dixon as well has been good in this contest out of the middle. Just the one solitary goal to Henry McCabe of the Bombers brings us to quarter time. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with all the second quarter action. Well, welcome back to Hamley Bridge Oval. It's the APFL Round 6 match of the round. It's Hamley Bridge hosting the Balaklava Packers, and with Hamley Bridge coming off a 10-goal win and the Balaklava Packers coming off a 6-goal loss, you'd be quite surprised at that scoreline on your screen, and that is absolutely correct. It's 62-8 at quarter time. And it's been Jared Miller, the star of the show so far for the Packers, with 5 goals in the first quarter alone. And one thing I want to look at as well is Hamley Bridge's results so far this season, just to show that this maybe is a bit of a blip on the radar and to be unexpected. Just lost admirably to Hummocks Watchmen in the first round by 17 points. And they've been competitive in most of their games so far. Lost by 19 to the champions in 2Ls in round 2. Just lost by 14 to Anglevale in round 3, and did lose comprehensively to United by 10 goals in round 4, and then of course won by 10 goals versus Virginia last round. So to be down by 54 points as they are right now at the start of the second quarter is a surprise to most. And Balaklava, although they are third on the ladder and of course looking for a grand final this year, no doubt, you would hope that Hamley Bridge are able to come out and be a little bit more competitive here in the second quarter. We're back underway and quickly moving the ball through hand as the Packers, but Hamley Bridge good enough to retreat through McCabe. Got tackled and got knocked out, but umpire calls play on. They get a chance to go through. Angus Judd going inside forward 50. Had a couple touches early, but went a bit more quiet in the later stages of that first quarter. Deep in the pocket now, close to the boundary line. Gets handballed underneath and the Packers retreat. Gutschke now over the top of the pack, can't rip down the mark, and Judd trying to pick the ball up underneath. But it does end up getting handballed out by the Packers to the outer side. And a good mark taken by Will Dixon. Goes to the paint of 50 to a one-on-one contest, trickles over the back, and it's picked up there by Manuel. Handball's over the top, but the Packers are back onto it. Dixon trying to spin through the tackle. Does get his boot to it and trickles a few metres. Manuel, an extra handball out the top and a dangerous ball dribbling towards the corridor. Trying to rip through the pack. Dixon's there once again. Gets picked up and snapped around the body, and Hamley Bridge have the space. He takes the mark, but chasing him closely was good enough to get the kick away and into the lap of Zach Fairley. Extra pass over the top and goes out of bounds on the full. So even when Hamley Bridge do get the ball back, a little sloppy with their disposal. So the Packers now, little chip kick over the top, and trying to rip down the mark was Butterfield. Fairley gets the ball back for the Bombers and called for holding the ball. Maybe got a shoelace on it, but not enough. So they go back inside forward 50 to the Packers, and a good grab taken. Great grab taken by Chad Ruiz. About 48 metres out, so have to kick this from beyond 50. Doesn't look like he's going to go for it. Instead, pops it to about 30 metres out to a contest. Does fall over the back. The Packers now fighting for work. Maybe a little head contact there. Good tackle made by Dixon. Gets the ball down to the ground, and the Packers now flick it back. Hendry handballs it back, top of the goal square. Ruiz is amongst this, gets knocked to the ground, falls on the floor. Michael trying to fight for it. And good enough for the through Manuel is to handball out for the Bombers. They do bomb it back into the corridor in a dangerous position. Can be prone to turn the ball over as Arthur picks it up with one hand. Gets tackled by Fairley. Well done by the Bombers to turn the ball back over into the hands of Luke Taylor. Into Henry McCabe and all the way out to the outer side. Little pass over the top and a good mark pulled down by Ethan Kane. Has a chance from the boundary there to have a snap at goal as he put it through. No, just through for a minor score and the first score of the second quarter for the Hamley Bridge Bombers. So a 53-point margin on the Sportal scoreboard. 139 plays 10-62. There's a long kick down the line and a good mark taken. Extra hand pass going inside and a little chip ball into Ruiz is good. Decides to hack a ball down the line, but Hamley Bridge intercept and look to get to work straight away. Chipping a ball 45 degrees and laterally, and it's good mark taken by Fairley. Had a short option, but decides to go in a different direction on the lead, and ripping grab taken. Shahinger leading at the footy. In fact, that's Rosenzweig. So Rosenzweig with a 45-degree angle here, as it is on his back. No breeze to speak of. And a chance to convert on a goal here. Very important one at that, and it does spray right. Looks like it's not even going to score. Does in fact stay inside the boundary as tackle over the boundary line there on Delina. So they'll ball it in. A missed opportunity there for Hamley Bridge off the boot of Rosenzweig. So around 20 metres around from Hamley Bridge's goal on the outer side, they're going to hurl it back in. Fairly in the ruck, gets it knocked down in front. Close to the boundary line, the Packers trying to move the ball by hand into the lap of McCabe, but he's quickly set upon. And they're going to ball it up once again. It gets knocked down here, favouring the Packers. They move the ball out the back of the pack. Quickly tackled on the pain of 50, and umpire's going to ball it up once more. So, chance to talk about some of Hamley Bridge's sponsors as well. Of course, we're at Hamley Bridge here today. Koleski Barossa, Maloney and Partners Lawyers, Harcourt's Gawler. As it looks like there's been a free kick paid here on the outer side, so going the way of Hamley. Probably a little too far out to score. Doesn't look super confident here. He is looking like he's going to try and back himself now, so right on the outer side. This is Nick Taylor. Tucked against the boundary line, sends the ball on its way and is through for a minor score, it seems. So Taylor through for a behind, but at least Hamley Bridge are now starting to control a little bit more of the footy. 5 minutes gone. It is still a 52-point advantage for Balaklava, as they've been paid the free kick here through Chatteroos. Some of the other sponsors here for Hamley Bridge: Lindock Motors, Hamley Bridge Medical, William Buck, Hamley Bridge Hotel, Kane Brothers, Kosh Farming and Shahinger Motors. Doing a good job sponsoring country footy, as there was a bit of a knockdown after the play there and rightfully paid downfield, I believe, here. So trying to see who that was knocked down. So it's been a free paid here to Balaklava as there's whistles being blown. Wanted him to go back over the mark. So it goes long down the line instead. McFarlane chasing it, but gets knocked down by Warner. Off hands. Butterfield. McFarlane gets the ball. Good hand pass out to Batty. A little chip kick over the top is good. Jared Miller has a handful. Chips the ball inside. Picked up by Ruiz, who has a bit of space. Just lobs the ball towards the top, about 20 metres out. Dangerous position. Free kick's been paid here for holding on, so going the way of the Bombers. Had a couple short options, but he's going to go long through the corridor to a dangerous position. Has to take the mark, and it's a ripping grab. Had contact coming from all different directions there, Luke Taylor. And a good pass over the top to Henry McCabe. Hands the ball off to Angus Judd, the captain. Dribbling little ball going towards forward 50, and Batty picks it up for the Packers. Handballs over the top and quickly set upon. Ripping tackle. Should have been paid holding the ball, but wasn't. McCabe, handball out, and they got a little bit of space to work with here through Redden. Lobbing the ball to a 2-on-1 and a ripping grab. And a really solid chance here to try and convert on a goal. I believe this could be Fairley, and it is. Zach Fairley had a bit of contact coming his way, but was good enough to rip it down. And it was a good kick going inside forward 50 to Austin Redden as well. So 8 goals on the season so far to Zach Fairley. On his way, not too much angle to speak of, and obviously not too much distance. Does pop through the goal, so Fairley onto the board. And the Bombers onto the board, so they now have just a 46-point deficit to come back from. 16 plays 62 on the Sportal scoreboard. 8 minutes gone. And Fairley through for his first of the afternoon. So 1-4-10 plays 10-62. Balaklava yet to score here in this second quarter. Hamley Bridge will be much happier with the way they've come out. And maybe they've found an answer for Jared Miller, who had a handful in the first quarter. Warner for the Packers knocks it down, but to no one's advantage. Bit of a dust bowl there in the centre circle as players get to work and gets handballed over the top. Gushke gets the handball out the back, but again to no one's advantage. Extra little handball over the top and eventually is picked up. Little kick inside there from Butterfield and goes to a dangerous position. They have to get to work and snapping out the back of the pack is smothered and now only about 10 metres out from Hamley Bridge's goal. There's going to be a stoppage and a ball up. Trying to snap it out there once again was Miller. Hendry gets the tap down and does dribble towards the boundary line and eventually smothered over as it goes out near the cricket net. So, going to get hurled in from the boundary. This is the one thing they won't want, Hamley Bridge, if they're to obviously convert and put a little bit more scoreboard pressure on and just give it right back to the Packers. They need to retreat here. So umpire to hurl it in. And it's a good ball in as well. It does go all the way over the back. In fact, he's actually going to pay a free kick. So a free kick here going the way of the Packers, it seems. In fact, they're actually going to ball it in once again. Didn't seem too bad to me, actually, but they're going to get him to step in and hurl it in. They do hurl it in now, gets knocked down in front by the Hamley Bridge ruckman and into Winter. Winter just retreats dangerously across the other side of the ground. He's going to go close to trickling over the line. Saved eventually by Butterfield and socket along the ground. But into the lap of the Packers and going to the top of the goal square once again, eventually knocked over by Buckby. So a ball in here, still in a dangerous position here for Hamley Bridge. It's going to be hurled in once more. Gets knocked down in front and getting to work once again. Falling to the ground and quickly tackled. So pretty stoppage heavy the last couple minutes, waiting for this game to break back open. Close to the boundary, they handball the ball back around and on the boot of Bayless, goes straight up in the air but out of bounds on the full. So the Packers will have an opportunity, albeit from a pretty tight position. Michael's around this one. Possibly he's the one to have a shot. Could also be Jack Tiller. In fact, it is Tiller. So a tight angle here for Jack Tiller. He's kicked 3 goals on the season so far. He'll have to kick this one from about 30 metres. But he's on the right side for a right footer. Puts it close to goal and does go through for a minor score. So the first score of the quarter for Balaklava, now moving to 10-3-63, 2-4-16 for the Hamley Bridge Bombers. As they go long on the outer side. It does come back straight away and good diving mark taken there by James Batty. So another opportunity here for Balaklava to try and put it through. It's a 47-point advantage so far for the Balaklava Packers. Had a short option there inside in Jacob Battle, but decides he's going to give it a crack. Again, right side for a right footer. Puts it close. Looks like it's on its way, and it is. Through for a goal for James Batty. The first goal of the second quarter for the Balaklava Packers on the Sportal scoreboard. Now moving to 11-3-69, 2-4-16 for the Hamley Bridge Bombers. It's a 53-point margin. And Batty on the board. So 12 and a half minutes gone in this one. When it looked like Hamley Bridge had much of the momentum in this second quarter to try and just scrap back into this game, Balaklava put a stop to it with a goal there. Once again, a chance to thank our partners, Dartfish, of course, filming footy. You're watching this live and free, and we thank you for joining us on your Saturday afternoon for the Adelaide Plains game of the round. Umpire to ball it up once again. Gets knocked down in front there from Rosenzweig. But quickly the Packers go back inside forward 50 one-on-one contest here is a little bit of a dive to the floor. Umpire wasn't clued onto it. Manuel, and a good hack ball off just out of thin air there for Josh Bayliss. Going close to the boundary line. McCabe with a handball over the top was a good one. Shahinger tried to find a short option there in Farley, but trickles towards the boundary line. Fairly back onto it. Has to try and snap around his body and dribble it through. Goes close to the top of the goal square, but the Packers good enough to bomb it through the corridor. Over the top there, Manuel, but they're sticking with it now. The Packers through Arthur. Sees an option over the top. Beats a couple players, but good enough to stay with it. They're the Bombers. Little chipping ball inside and a good mark taken by Manuel. Goes along to the outer side. Maybe a little bit of a falcon there for Austin Redden. Stayed with it and he was able to pick it up. It was quickly tackled and right on centre wing on the outer side. Umpire's going to ball it up right near the boundary line. So going uncontested there just about. Got tackled with it. A call for holding the ball. Solid tackle made by Gutschke. And looks to move it quickly. Going back towards forward 50. Couldn't rip down the mark there and quickly tackled. And called for a sling tackle there. So couple sling tackles called in this one. Dangerous tackles. So Buckby switches the ball across and Bayliss is going to get to work off the bounce. Marching outside of their defensive 50 and a good chipping ball inside the corridor to Fairley. Finds an option right over the top and it was a solid kick but couldn't rip down the mark. Maybe tackled without the ball there but intercepted by the captain. Boots go flying off. Little handball over the back and Fairley now picking it up. Trying to rip through a tackle and eventually goes to ground. Umpire's going to ball it up. Hamley Bridge looking to kick their second goal of this quarter. Fairley in the ruck knocks it down and the Packers just retreat quickly to a one-on-one contest. Bounces over all heads and eventually trickles out of bounds. So this will go back to Hamley Bridge without touching a single hand. Of course, last possession here in the APFL. In fact, no, it's not. It is going to be held in, so I could have sworn no one touched it, but Shahinger in the ruck knocks it down in front. Gets the ball back and handballs it out, but gets intercepted and bobbled around and they're able to move the ball by hand. So the Packers go back towards their forward 50, going close to the boundary line and is out of bounds on the full. So Hamley Bridge now, they have a couple options to switch the ball across the ground. He looks at it once, but decides he's going to chip the ball short instead and finds a teammate in Declan Redden. So kicks a long ball there, looking for Shahinger, but falls out the back. Trying to move the ball by hand, but quickly tackled and called for holding the ball. So good work there by the Bombers. And Campbell Simpson long down the line, trying to use his body and get to work, but it is picked up at the back by Luke Guy. Looking to switch the ball across, but straight into the lap of a Hamley forward. And a good mark taken by Rosenzweig straight in front, so you would think that he should be able to convert on this opportunity. Had a tricky shot at goal a moment ago. And he does pull that one across, so actually did not score at all, so pulled that one right across to the left. No score added. So long down the line they go once again, but sitting under it there was Godfrey. Taking the uncontested mark, chipping a ball inside, and a good ball movement here. Henry McCabe, one of the goal scorers here for Hamley Bridge. Good little chipping ball. Looks as if he might take a shot here. Luke Taylor. Again, no breeze to speak of. Has to probably kick this all of about 50 metres and then some. A few players converge on the goal line now, so looks as if he may give himself a little bit of room. Runs off his line and has a shot from about 50 metres. Does pull it left. And in fact misses just about everything, it seems. And he does, so no score added for Hamley Bridge twice in a row. Out on the full. So Michael Just surveying his options here at the moment. Going long down the line, Shahinga with a punch over the back, and eventually finds the boundary line, so they'll hurl it back in front of the Balaklava bench. Much less happening here in the second quarter. So the ruckman get to work. Shahinga knocks it down in front, but quickly onto it there was Jacob Battle, hacking it around his body into the lap of Ruiz. Extra handball, and they go back inside forward 50 once again. The Packers to a one-on-one contest. Just beats him over the back. A chance for 6. Running into open goal. Just goes to the right-hand side for Miller. And his first minor score of the day through 4 behind. So now moving to 70. 11-4-70 on the scoreboard, on the Sportal scoreboard. 2-4-16, and a good mark taken by Taylor. It's a 52-point advantage here for Balaklava. Going long down the line, a one-on-one contest, picked up well by McCabe, and he finds a little bit of space so he can have a bounce. He can take a second and he can go towards goal, chipping the ball over the top. Had an option there, but does put it through for a minor score. Does Henry McCabe, trying to convert on his second. So now moves, in fact it was a 54-point margin before, now moves to a 53-point margin. And they chip the ball inside and eventually move it out, and a good grab taken there by Olsen. So Batty goes long down the line. Couple players converging on it, climbing over the back, and well taken in the end by Tom Godfrey, gets the handball out. And the captain going long down the line. It's a good kick in, nearly into the lap of Fairley, but had Peckers all around him. And a good kick made there, going laterally. Arthur with the mark and finds some of his teammates in space through Michael. Extra hand pass over the top to Dixon is good, goes to a one-on-one contest, and the mark ripped down there by James Batty. So he'll have a set shot from about 40 metres, not too much angle to speak of. And Batty is a good goal scorer in this league. And you would think he should be able to put this through for a goal. What's been a tight and tough second quarter, but he pops it up in front. Can't register a score there, but does put it in a dangerous position. Hendry getting to work. Turning out of it was Manuel. Lost the ball. Back amongst it once again is Batty, handballing it out to McFarlane, but picked up by Manuel. Still in a dangerous position here, about 30 metres out, straight in front. Shahinga in the ruck goes uncontested, so he knocks it down. Not really to anyone's advantage. Running in there was Edward McCabe, quickly set upon. So 25 metres out. Can Balaklava convert on yet another goal? It'll be their 12th of the game. Dixon stops, props, turns, finds a little bit of space. He's going to try and put it through himself, puts it close to the goal line. And he's done well there to knock it through, does Tom Godfrey. So through for a minor score. And now out to a 54-point advantage. 71 plays 17 on the Sportal scoreboard. And a bad kick coming out of the goal square is marked by Gutschke. Gives them a chance to try and convert again. He'll have to kick it from 50, so decides to go, runs around on his mark a little bit, and does go through for a minor score. So, battering the scoreboard at the moment. Here are the Packers. Now moving out to 72, playing 17. Little chip kick is good, and into the lap of Manuel. And a good kick over the top. So 55-point leaders Balaklava at the moment, if you've just joined us. Edward McCabe. Good kick to the outer side, looking for Fairley, but just beats both of them. And well picked up there by the captain. Chipping a ball inside, and that's a ripping kick. Finding Patrick Winter. Had the handball there if he wanted it through Manuel, but chips the ball instead, and good grab taken by Rosenzweig. Sends the ball long inside forward 50 as a pack converges over the top. Fairley was amongst it. Gets trapped inside, snapping out of the pack and through for a goal. What a ripping goal that was. I believe that may have been Jackson Delina there underneath. We'll have to look at our little replay here in front of us. It was a good kick inside there by Rosenzweig as the players got amongst it, and yeah, ripping goal turning out of the contest, and it was in fact Jackson Delina. So the second goal of the quarter for Hamley Bridge. And it's now just a 49-point game, so they've been far more competitive in this one. 23-72 on the Sportal scoreboard. 24 minutes gone in this one. Back inside, and getting the tap over the top was good, and they got a chance to go back inside forward 50 through their captain. Going close to goal. Is this a goal? Oh, just hits the inside of the goalpost. Would have been a ripping kick there from Angus Todd. He's kicked a goal in every single game so far this season. Would have been one of the quickest goals of the season so far, but they've got their tails up a little bit more here, Hamley Bridge. It's a bit of a dodgy kick inside and straight into the lap of the opposition, and Samuel McCabe pops it up into a dangerous spot, and a grab taken there. I believe this is Fairley. He was leading up at the ball, so he'll have a chance to try and pop through another one. It'll be his second of the game if he can, as this second quarter winds to a close. And their forwards are starting to put on a little bit more pressure. So Fairley with his back straight to the commentary truck and just pulls it left through for a minor score. So now, been a little shaky in front of goal, 3-6-24. Plays 11-6-72 on the Sportal scoreboard. That's a 48-point advantage still for Balaklava. Very comfortable after their first quarter. As it's close to the boundary line here for Balaklava, they chip the ball over the top to Arthur. So long down the line, it's a 1-on-2 here. Plenty of numbers here for Hamley Bridge. Quickly going onto it was Batty. Handballs the ball over the top into a little bit of space. Good pick up there underneath and chips the ball out. Michael, close to goal, just puts it to the top of the goal square. Miller's over the top, can't quite pull in the mark. Close to the boundary line now, has to try and get to work. Trying to work around a few Hamley Bridge defenders, and umpire's blown his whistle here. Seems as if it did go over the boundary line, so they will hurl it back in. It was Miller looking for his 6th of the game. Surprisingly, hasn't kicked a goal this quarter after getting 5 in the first. Does eventually get knocked down in front. So quickly onto it there is Angus Judd, and there's the siren for half-time. What's been a really intriguing contest. Quarter time, it was a 54-point margin. 54-point margin in favour of Balaklava, and look, Hamley Bridge won the quarter. They'd be incredibly happy with that, but they've got a lot more work to do if they want to be competitive in this contest. Now at 48 points, 72 plays 25 on the Sportal scoreboard. The goals so far in this one, we mentioned it before, but Jared Miller with 5, Lachlan Hendry with 3, Bailey Arthur with 1, Will Dixon with 1 as well in this one. Jack Tiller's also knocked through 1 as well, I believe. So, in fact, that was a behind. 1 for Henry McCabe for the Bombers, 1 for Fairley, and 1 for Delina. That'll bring us to half-time for Filming Footy and Dartfish. We'll be back with all the second half action in a moment. Welcome back here to Hamley Bridge Oval. It's the Hamley Bridge Bombers hosting the Balaklava Packers, and you can see that score on your screen, 72-25. It was all about the first quarter for the Packers. They got out to a 54-point advantage at quarter time, and that was largely through the boot of Jared Miller. 5 goals to him, 3 goals to Lachlan Hendry as well. Obviously did well in the first quarter. All of those goals, all of those 8 goals between those two coming in the first quarter, they were absolutely dominant. Will Dixon getting a goal as well for the Packers, as did Batty and Arthur. Batty, the only goal scorer in the second quarter for the Balaklava Packers in green. Now for Hamley Bridge, they've got the 3 solitary goal scorers in Henry McCabe, Zach Fairley and Jackson Delina. I mentioned at quarter time, it was that margin. It was 10-62 playing 1-8. And now at halftime, they did win that quarter, Hamley Bridge, 3-7-25 to 11-6-72. A time to thank our sponsors as well. Our stream partners, Dartfish, Sportal, obviously sponsoring the scoreboard. Classic Catches, Filming Footy, Archie's, Custom by ORTC, High Five E-Bikes and Kimberley Accommodation Group. And some of APFL's partners, Viswater, Sports Power, Zorich Group, Sharon, Belgravia Apparel, Synergy Signs, Mango Inc., McCracken, Ford, Balaklava and the Plains Producer. Well, in this second half, what is the key for Hamley Bridge to get back into this one? Well, first of all, it's converting on their set shot opportunities. There was a couple opportunities there for Fairley and a couple there for Justin Shahinger to convert, and just sprayed them out. They currently sit at 3 goals 7, but they've even put a 3 or 4 out of bounds on the full as well. So certainly something to keep an eye on there. If they can start converting inside a goal, then all of a sudden they might be back on. The game currently sits at 47 points the difference. And of course, we do award the Archie Thongs to the player of the game as well. And it would be unfair to say that that wouldn't be firmly sitting in the hands of Jared Miller after a 5-goal first quarter. Both teams here in the huddles ready to converge. Balaklava, interestingly, didn't go into the rooms. It is a nice day here. They come out to the shadows on the outer side here, on the near side here, and decided to sit down and have a rest instead of going into the rooms. And their coach was giving them a fair pump up as well. Very happy with the way they performed, particularly in the first quarter. Of course, lost the second quarter, so they'd want to go out here and try and convert in the third and just build on this margin and put it to bed. But if Hamley Bridge can come out and put a few goals on the board, then all of a sudden they're back into this game. Anything within 5 goals in the last quarter is game on. Of course, it's the Adelaide Plains Game of the Round, brought to you by Filming Footy. We thank you for watching on your Saturday afternoon. Got Dino on the camera as well, doing a fantastic job. The midfielder's about to get back into the middle. This quarter, Balaklava heading to the left of your screen, Hamley Bridge to the right. And it looks as if they're ready to go. So, umpire just checking all players are in position. He's ready to go for the third quarter. Raises the ball and the siren blows. Inside gets knocked down by Warner, but Hamley Bridge good enough to get the ball to start this one, moving it through hand. Has a short option, but Judd decides to go through the middle of the ground and goes long to a 1-on-1, but just had a little bit too much on it for Henry McCabe. It was marked by Luke Guy. Kicks across the other side of the ground through Battle and an extra kick over the top to Gutschke. He's got a little bit of space to work, so goes down the line, and it's a really solid way to kick to Batty, but he wasn't good enough to hold on to the mark. He was eventually picked up for a high tackle, so he does take the ball now, around 60 around from goal. Pops it to the top of the goal square in a dangerous position. He's popped to the ground. Snapping out was Butterfield, but couldn't get it to go. He's picked up, the loose ball's picked up, handballed out the back. Balaklava still with possession. Handballing it all the way back now to Batty. He's eventually jumped on top of, and whistle's been blown here on the outer side. It did go over the boundary line. And hurled back in quickly as the ruckman go to work. Knocked down in front there by the Hamley Bridge ruckman, but going close to the top of the goal square here for the Peckers in a dangerous position. Good enough to hand the ball out through Judd. Turns one way, turns the other, works his way around McFarlane and kicks the ball over the top, and it's going to trickle out of bounds. Last possession, obviously off of the boot of Angus Judd. Handy player, Judd. He's been certainly one of Hamley Bridge's best so far. I mentioned before, he's kicked a goal in every game this season. Yet to get one this afternoon, as the kick had a little bit too much heat on it. Extra handball across and going into the corridor, Hamley Bridge. They switch it back to the outer side. A one-on-one contest here. Simpson fighting for it. He's good enough to stay with it. Wants to move it through the middle of the ground. It's a good kick inside. It goes inside, fairly leading up at the footy, and a good grab taken, just beating his defender to the ball. Hell of an opportunity here to try and convert on Hamley Bridge's fourth. And Fairley's been handy. Had a couple set shots like this. And I mentioned just a moment ago they need to convert on their set shot opportunities. And this is a handy one. Man on the mark's probably standing around 32, 33 metres out, so I have to kick this only about 35 to 40 metres. On its way now. Kick looks good, is going close to the goal line. It does fall through for yet a minor score, so Fairley can't convert there. Ended the first half with a behind, but now to a 46-point margin for Balaklava. So now that reads 3-8-26, 11-6-72. Chipping the ball across. It was a dangerous ball, and Redden nearly found himself in an advantageous position. Little chip kick over the top to McFarlane is good. Judd nearly cutting it off. They switch it back the other direction, and it's a good solid mark taken. Michael rolling around the back. Little dribble ball over the top. Gets the ball back, does Michael. And they move the ball cleanly. Michael gets it back again, his third possession in the chain. Kicks the ball inside the corridor. Beats all players. Arthur trying to get onto the ball. Ball's still in dispute here. James Batty quickly tackled to the ground. Only about 30 metres out from the Peckers' goal. They move it so quickly from end to end. Ruckman amongst it. Quickly kicking out was Judd. And a good mark falling back with it was taken. Ripping grab taken for the Peckers. Kicking the ball inside, and McFarlane, that's Caleb McFarlane, to Arthur. Switching all the way over to the other side. Olsen trying to find a teammate there, but beats all players. Dixon's amongst it, trickling out towards the boundary line. All players diving on top of the ball. It looks as if it's going to be hurled back in here on the boundary. So Ruckman go at it once again, knocked down by Shahinger. Umpire quickly blows his whistle to ball it up once again. Neither team yet to convert on a goal so far here in this third quarter. Warner knocks it down in front, quickly kicked out by Judd. Inside, knocked over the top, McCabe, and they just kick it out into space. Simpson's running onto the ball. Couldn't quite get there. It wasn't an advantageous bounce there for Hamley Bridge. Quickly spinning through the tackle there was Arthur. Handballing the ball back, Guy. And a good solid kick down the wing, and they're able to get some uncontested ball. McFarlane chipping the ball. Arthur. Good dart of a ball inside forward 50, just falls out the back of the pack. Trying to get onto it is Batty. Handballs the ball to Ruiz. Hamley Bridge get the ball back, and they're able to bomb it back into the corridor. Bailey Arthur leading them all to the footy, but the bounce just beats him. McCabe now, handball over the top. Simpson has a little bit of space to get to work, has a one-on-one contest inside forward 50. Fairley's there. They now have an opportunity to try and put through a goal, and they do. Brilliant work there from Hamley Bridge, and Samuel McCabe puts through his first of the afternoon. And Hamley Bridge draw first blood here in the third quarter. Now bring it back to a 40-point game. Really all that separated them so far is just that first quarter. So 31 on the scoreboard it reads. In fact, 32, I should say. To 72. A 40-point margin on the Sportal scoreboard. Still comfortably in the hands of Balaklava here, but if Hamley Bridge can try and kick a couple more goals and get back into this one, then they will be right in the thick of it. Ruckman go back at it, knocked over the top, and Hamley do get the clearance. So Edward McCabe has a short option. Taylor back to Edward McCabe, has to chip a ball over the top, but right into the lap of Luke Guy. Has a short option laterally, decides to go longer though to the centre wing, flying for it, comes off hands, Gutschke with the bounce of the ball, McFarlane, extra handball, Ruiz, going inside forward 50, a shallow entry, but falls out the back. Now it's a foot race to the ball, won by Buckby, handball over the top, ball's now in dispute, and walking into open goal for his fourth is Lachlan Hendry. Just like that, all that hard work comes undone there for Hamley Bridge. 7 minutes gone in this one, and the first goal of the third quarter for Balaklava. 32 plays 78 on the Sportal scoreboard. And Hendry with his fourth goal. So now back out to that 46-point margin for Balaklava. Really, since quarter time, Hamley Bridge have been competitive. But any time you go in with a 9-point margin, a 9-goal margin against you in any game of footy, at any quarter, let alone the first, you've got a huge hill to climb. So Hendry now with his fourth. And Bailey Arthur gets the clearance quickly out of the middle, going back inside forward 50. Pack converges, comes off the hands of Hendry. Ball's back in dispute. Michael's fighting for it. All players converging on it. Gutschke gets the hands out, right into the pocket, and dribbles eventually over the boundary line before Batty can get to it. So Hamley Bridge will get a chance here to try and move. They just haven't really moved the ball with any sort of freedom. It's this sort of uncontested ball they need to get, as they do put it into Luke Taylor. Moves the ball right across, and Godfrey, Judd, tries to balk his opponent, does successfully. He's able to take a bounce. He's able to march about 30 metres and send a 50-metre kick down the line. Good body work made there by Austin Redden, and he'll get a chance to try and convert. So Austin Redden with his back right to us, almost as close as he can get to our commentary truck. It was a good kick going inside forward 50 from Judd. And Redden, the right footer, on his way. Ball looks good, looks online, and does sneak through for a goal. So the second goal of the third quarter coming from Redden. And brilliant work there from Hamley Bridge just to stay competitive in this contest. They've made it interesting, now bringing it back to that 40-point margin on the Sportal scoreboard, 38 playing 78. And a brilliant kick there from Redden. It's always a nice feeling when you don't have too much breeze to contend with. So Austin Redden, his second goal of the season, had one goal in this season coming into it. All individual goal scorers, all 5 goals of this game coming from different boots for Hamley Bridge. Maybe they just need someone to take over here in this third quarter and get him back into the contest. Spinning out of it is Taylor, bounced off his opponent. Going inside forward 50, and a ripping grab climbing over the top was Luke Guy. Chipping to the outer side, and it's a brilliant kick. Little 45 ball into Arthur's good. Just chips the ball over the top, was looking for Michael, but caught sleeping, and Shahinger takes the mark. Has a one-on-one contest, and a good grab rip down by Redden, the goal scorer. So Redden has a chance to go deep inside forward 50. Has Fairley leading at the ball, does put it on top of his head. Guy just beats all defenders. Handballs it over to Arthur. Quickly chased down, but he's good enough to get the kick away to Michael this time. Just chips off the 45 ball inside. Handball over the top, and Dixon finds a player inside to try and convert yet another goal, his 5th of the game. Lachlan Hendry joins his teammate in Jared Miller with a handful of his own. on the Sportal scoreboard, now moving to 84, playing 38. It's now back out to that 46-point margin. Once again, just trading goals either way in this third quarter. And Hendry converts on his 5th goal of this one. So had 6 goals coming into this game. Has nearly doubled it here this afternoon. And just every time Hamley Bridge have something to say in this contest. Balaklava just come back with a punch of their own. So a ball up back in the middle. Climbing over the top there was Warner. Knocks it down in front. Trying to get it was Michael, but good enough to pick it up there, the Hamley Bridge ruckman. Handballing it up to Judd, and he's evasive. He takes a bounce through the contest. Chips the ball over the top, and he's done well there, Judd. So Ethan Kane, little chip ball over the top, looking for his teammate, but read it well. Did Caleb McFarlane. To the outer side and to Gutschke. Chips the ball over the top, and good mark retreating. Going inside forward 50 to a contest. Can't quite pull down the mark. Trying to work his way around there was Batty. Gets underneath and gets tackled into the ground. Umpire's going to ball it up. Now 30 metres out from Balaklava's goal. 40 metres out, I should say. A dangerous position here. Warner over the top knocks it down. But a chance here to try and retreat for Hamley Bridge. And nearly a mark taken. Taylor's over the back though and is able to get it on the second effort. Chips the ball over the top and good solid mark taken. So Austin Redden kicked a goal a moment ago. That's already been answered by Balaklava. Chips a little 45-degree ball and a courageous mark taken, and they're able to go inside forward 50 right to the top of the goal square. Puts it on his head, does trickle out the back. Handballed out well there by O'Leary Fletcher, but the ball's now back in dispute, snapping around the body and marked on the goal line by Michael, saving the day. And looks to move it quickly, and it's a good kick to the outer side, marked by Butterfield. So has an option laterally to go to Guy. And looks there now, in fact he goes further back. And they move it all the way around now through O'Leary Fletcher. And now to Logan Olsen. And they can keep going. They've got Michael. And Michael now moves it into the corridor. Dangerous position, but the mark pulled down by Gutschke. Moves it all the way around to the outer side now. Butterfield. So this uncontested ball here for Balaklava, just pulling apart Hamley Bridge. Moving the ball across and now going back towards the forward 50 into attacking position. Good pick up there by Godfrey as Hamley Bridge look to respond. Delena puts a dangerous ball up towards forward 50, falls down in front. Simpson's good enough for the pick up. Handballs it out to the outer side. Getting back onto it was Austin Redden. Tried to find Rosenzweig on the ground, but good enough to get the pick up. They handball it out to Redden now, snapping around his body about 35 metres out. So it was always going to be a tricky one, and a mark taken diving to the ground was O'Leary Fletcher. And they have paid the mark, so they chip the ball across into the pocket. They go long down the line. This is going to be a dangerous one, and it is eventually punched over the boundary line near side here. A good fist there from Josh Bayliss. So centre wing, or maybe slightly favouring Hamley Bridge here. They'll hurl it back in. What's been a back and forth contest here in the third quarter. Good tap down there to Judd. Maybe got ripped away without the ball and does get paid the free kick. So, and it looks as if they may pay 25, so they'll put Judd in a possibly a goal scoring position here. I think the mark will be set right on the 50-metre line. So about 49 metres out the man on the mark. Judd might fancy himself a chance here, the captain. As I mentioned before, has kicked a goal in every single game this season so far. Does put his foot through it, but is fading right and does go out of bounds on the full there, Judd. So hasn't had his opportunity close to goal, but has put his stamp on this contest. He's been impressive. So the Packers bomb it long. Judd's going to fly for this one. Does come over the back. Good enough to stay with it and get his hands out was Declan Redden. Now into the hands of Judd. Working with Godfrey. They do go back into McCabe, snapping the ball around his body inside forward 50, and a good mark taken. Trailing back with the ball was Arthur. Looks to go through the corridor, has Dixon over the top and had to fall back with it and take it. Moves to the outer side. So Battle chips the ball inside to Dixon. Gutschke goes long, has an option here. Butterfield had a short lead there, didn't offer. Does go there now, so mark taken here and possibly a chance here for Lachlan Hendry to try and convert on his 6th. It's going to be from a tricky position, but we did see Miller convert from this exact spot here in the first quarter. So he'll have a chance to convert on his 6th and maybe take the Archie thongs off of his teammate. So on his way through now. He's on the right side for a right footer, but just shanks it. Maybe come off hands there. Hamley Bridge good enough to try and dribble the ball back through, but does get knocked out of bounds for a ball in. Around 30 metres around from Balaklava's goal. So no score for quite some time since the 11-minute mark of this game. We're now at about 18 minutes. Knocked down in front there by Warner, but straight into the lap of his midfielders and quickly set upon for another ball up. Warner again amongst it. Gets knocked down. Fighting for it there was Batty underneath. Just gets dove on and going to be balled up once again. So stoppage fest here and a chance for Balaklava to try and build on their lead. Angus Judd quickly out, trying to find his teammate in McCabe. But Balaklava get the ball back through Butterfield. Little chip kick over and Battle. So Jacob Battle surveying his options. Lobs it up to a dangerous position, has the lead on offer. It was Miller leading at the ball, and now they can retreat. Hamley Bridge through Patrick Winter. Dodges around one, has a fair bit of a run, goes towards forward 50. It's all about the bounce. Balaklava have the numbers through O'Leary Fletcher. Just drops a little kick over the top, but does go out of bounds on the full. So the man who started it all, Patrick Winter, chips it inside. Henry McCabe, a goal scorer in this one so far. Had Zach Fairley on the lead. Does pop it towards the top of the goal square instead. Leading at the footy and nearly ripping down the mark was Rosenzweig. About 30 metres out from Hamley Bridge's goal. They're going to ball it up. So Rosenzweig in the ruck. Gets knocked down by Warner instead. Trying to step around and they get into the hands of the captain in Judd. Snapping it out of the pack and goes out of bounds on the full. So no score registered. They've scrapped hard in this third quarter here, Hamley Bridge. They could be closer in the contest, though, if they just converted on their opportunities. So they do have the option to switch across the ground, but they decide to go further down the outer side to the vice-captain in Ruiz. They hand the ball off quickly and they look to cut it through the corridor. Looking for McFarlane, fending off, maybe caught a bit high there. Does get tackled to the ground, no free kick paid. McCabe picking it up, quickly set upon. So a little over 20 minutes gone here in the third quarter. Gets balled up once again. Gets knocked down in front. McFarlane trying to get a hack out of the pack. Quickly handing it off. McCabe chipping it in, and it's a good solid kick. It'll give him an opportunity to have a set shot on goal. And the extra little pass over the top is good to take off some of the distance. So this will really give them an opportunity to try and convert on yet another goal in this quarter. They've been competitive here in this third quarter. And Henry McCabe, a chance to try and convert on his second goal of the afternoon. So a fair angle. He's not right against the boundary, but he has a bit of work to do here. But no breeze to speak of, so he just has to pop it straight through. On its way, kick does look good. He is able to convert on a goal, is Henry McCabe. kicks his second of the afternoon. Hamley Bridge now back to that 40-point margin. Balaklava still with a comfortable advantage, but a solid goal put through for Henry McCabe. His fourth of the season, a second of the afternoon here on the Sportal scoreboard. Thanks for watching Filming Footy. Adelaide Plains game of the round, round 6. And the first score of the game for 10 minutes. Last score comes through Hendry, a goal at the 11-minute mark. So back in the middle. Still a bit of time here in this third quarter. Of course, not too many scores coming in the last few minutes, but if Hamley Bridge can kick a couple, then they can make this game interesting. Batty snapping it out of the pack here for Balaklava. Over the top, and they'll look to get to work Hamley. Ball falling to ground, does spill out and called for holding the ball, rightfully so. Good forward pressure. They handball it off and they're going to be called back here as Battle had a shot on goal. So it will be a set shot opportunity here for the Packers. And it looks as if it's going to come through Jack Tiller. So Tiller a little too far from home to score. He's going to pop it up in a dangerous position instead and does now to the top of the goal square. Ball falls to the front. Dixon snapping around his body is able to put it through for a goal. Brilliant midfield craft, just roving off the pack there. Will Dixon puts through his second goal of the afternoon. And brilliant work there from him. Kicks his fourth goal of the season, second of the afternoon. That back out of that 46-point margin. It's been like that this whole game. It's now 44 for Hamley Bridge, plays 90 for Balaklava on the Sportal scoreboard. But I just want to read out the margin so far in this game. So it's been Balaklava leading by 46 to start this third quarter. Then a goal to McCabe to bring it back to 40. Then a goal to Hendry to bring it back to 46. Then a goal to Redden to bring it back to 40. And then a goal to Hendry to 46. Henry McCabe with a goal to 40. And then Dixon to a goal to 46. So they literally have traded goals here in this third quarter. Gutschke with a handball out the back. McFarlane snapping it around his body. But Hamley Bridge good enough to move the ball through. And they move it to the outer side. But well smothered there underneath by McFarlane. Gets the handball out. Ball's back in dispute. Able to move the ball by hand now through McFarlane. Been busy in this contest. Goes back inside forward 50. Ball's fumbled there underneath by Godfrey. Gets quickly tackled straight to the ground and the ball will be balled up. So ball up around 30 metres out. Michael in the ruck tops it down. But quickly off the rove is Patrick Winter. Goes long down the line and does trickle out of bounds. So no one touched it. So Balaklava is going to get the ball back on the outer side. Little chip kick over the top to Ruiz is good. Moves it across through Battle. Looks to go now and put it into a dangerous position and a good grab taken. So Olsen has to work around fairly his opponent. Does beat all players, and especially in his target in Butterfield. Spilling the mark and into the lap of McCabe. Judd has a little bit of room to go. He loves a run on the outside, does Judd. Goes long down the line and nearly ripping down the grab was Rosenzweig. Still in the contest, trying to beat his opponent. Doesn't really get too much distance on that one, but O'Leary Fletcher's good enough to get the handball out. Quickly a handball over the top here for Hamley, but set upon quickly by Austin Redden. So a ball up here about 45 metres out, 40 metres out from Hamley's goal. Rosenzweig in the ruck. O'Leary Fletcher as well. And it does easily come out through McFarlane. A long ball over the top, falls out the back, and Josh Bayliss still trying to move the ball through hand. Good work there from Patrick Winter. Going inside forward 50. Leading at the footy is Fairley. Just got the room he needed. Has one goal this afternoon. He's kicked a couple behinds as well. But a chance once again to bring it back to that 40-point margin it keeps bouncing to. Both teams have been quite accurate here in this third quarter. Fairly on his way. Looking like it's just fading to the left. In fact, it's going to stay in, so both teams still in the contest. Eventually getting pushed over the boundary line was Nick Taylor. Still in a dangerous position here for Balaklava. Hamley Bridge looking to convert late here in this third quarter. Siren should go at any second. Gets hurled in and out the back. Rosenzweig's got a chance. Has to try and get the handball out, and there's the siren for the third quarter. Just beats Hamley Bridge to it. In what was an entertaining third quarter, neither side able to get the advantage. We come in with a scoreline of 25-72. So it was a high-octane third quarter with both sides trading goals, now reading 90-44 on the Sportal scoreboard. You're watching Filming Footy. We're going to go to a three-quarter time break and come back in a few minutes for all the fourth quarter action. Welcome back here, Hamley Bridge Oval. It's Hamley Bridge Bombers hosting the Balaklava Packers for the fourth quarter. Brought to you by Filming Footy and Dartfish. And thanks to our stream partners, Dartfish, Sportal, the scoreboard, of course. Classic catches, Filming Footy, Archies. Of course, the Archie songs will be awarded to the player of the game. I'm a little undecided who they'll go to at this point. Custom by ORTC, High Five E-Bikes and Kimberley Accommodation Group have just been let know at the three-quarter time break that Hamley Bridge, it's been since 2014 they haven't beaten Balaklava. And they would have thought they were a bit of a chance coming into this one, given their results so far this season. Although they are sitting second last on the ladder, they've been very respectable in some of their losses. And since quarter time, they're actually beating Balaklava, but it was a massive 54-point advantage at quarter time that has given Balaklava this margin. They're quickly moving the ball, though, through hands and snapping towards their forward 50 are the Bombers. But it quickly retreats out the back. And a one-on-one contest on the wing. Over the top, and Ruiz is first to the ball. Has a little bit of space and chips a handy ball over the top, and thought for a moment that would go over. And it was Lachlan Hendry who was hurling over the fence. And good to see him get straight back up. Thought that could have been ugly there for a moment. So, held the ball back in, around 35 metres around from Balaklava's goal. Gets held in, maybe a little short. So, held in once again. Knocked down in front, and good tap down there from Warner. Extra hands around the outside to Arthur, but it's intercepted, and McCabe has a bit of space to run, but he loses his dribble. Chips the ball over the top and trying to get into the lap of Judd. Gutschke around it, but he fumbles it as well. Taylor gets quickly tackled. Maybe didn't have the ball, but umpire says play on. Judd picks it up. He gets quickly tackled underneath, and umpire's going to ball it up. So Hamley Bridge have certainly been far more physical here since quarter time. Sometimes one quarter is all it takes. Quickly getting the handball out was Dixon, a couple goals to his name in this one. Handballs it out in front of Michael, and he's got a bit of space to go. Takes a bounce through the middle, chips the ball over the top. One-on-one contest, and a juggling mark is finally ripped down by Hendry. So a chance to try and convert on his sixth. 5 goals to his name. Not too much angle to speak of here. Just has to rest it through. No breeze to speak of at all. 5 goals to his name so far. Kicked 6 goals versus United in round 3. And a chance to match that number here. Kick his 12th of the season. On his way, looks like it's fading left and is. Through for a minor score, and the first score here of the fourth quarter to Lachlan Hendry. So a 47-point advantage here for Balaklava on the Sportal scoreboard. 91 playing 44. So ball in dispute now on the outer side. There's a little bit of a sling tackle made there, but umpire says that's all fine. We'll ball it up. 14-7 plays 6-8. Knocked down out the back of the pack. Michael fighting for it, eventually dribbles over the boundary line. Another chance to thank the APFL partners as well. Viswater, Sports Powers Orange Group, Sharon, Belgravia Apparel, Synergy Signs, Mango Inc., McCracken Ford Balaklava and Plains Producer. Calls for holding the ball, and it is eventually paid, so Hamley Bridge. Solid tackle made there by the captain in Judd. So thought about moving it laterally. Moves it up through Winter instead. Has the chip kick over the top. It's a one-on-one contest, but marks taken by Henry McCabe. So just stops and thinks about what he's going to do right in front of the Balaklava bench. Goes to a one-on-one contest over the top, and Bayless eventually knocks it over the boundary line. And Hamley Bridges sponsors as well, of course, propping up fantastic country footy. Kaleski, Barossa, Maloney and Partners Lawyers, Harcourt's Gawler, Hamley Bridge Medical. This is a stoppage underneath. Lindock Motors, William Buck, Hamley Bridge Hotel, Kane Brothers, Kosh Farming, at Shahinga Motors here in Hamley Bridge. And here go the Peckers once again, moving the ball by hand, trying to get into the lap of Arthur, but it was a sloppy handball. Picked up and snapped out of the pack and going inside forward 50. They've got the numbers here. Taylor flicks it back. McCabe, extra handball, but maybe didn't get a hand on it. As the umpire said, that's going to be incorrect disposal, holding the ball. Chip ball over the top, trying to find Butterfield, but it's intercepted by Robinson. Moves the ball across to Judd, the left footer, and finds the ball inside forward 50, a shallow entry, so he might not be confident here, Samuel McCabe. Instead, he does go back now. He might give himself the opportunity. Does look like he's going to have a crack here, Samuel McCabe. So props it up close to goal. Looks like it's pretty well accurate. Goes close to the goal line and is touched through. There were thoughts there that it might have been a goal, but it is called through for a minor score. So Hamley Bridge now improving to 45 now, 91 for Balaklava. I think there's still a few people that think that is a goal for Hamley Bridge, but it is not. So a 46-point margin here for Balaklava. Moving along the outer side, trying to find Arthur. Comes out the back, and Hamley Bridge good enough to move it through McCabe. That's Henry McCabe this time. In fact, Edward McCabe. There's 3 McCabes out there. Going back inside forward 50 again, looking for Fairley. Gets knocked over the back. Beating him to the ball. Taylor has to try and dribble it through. Can't quite get a boot onto it. They handball it over the top. Still in a dangerous spot here for Balaklava, so they need to try and move it through hand. And they do turn the ball over. McCabe chipping a ball across and finding his leading forward there in Austin Redden, who has a fairly easy and straight shot on goal. Not too much angle to speak of, only has to kick it about 35 metres. Has 1 goal so far this afternoon. 2 goals on the season. Ball's on its way, is close to going through and does convert on the goal. So Austin Redden through for his 2nd goal of the afternoon, and another goal on the board for Hamley Bridge. Now back to that 40-point margin. 51 playing 91 on the Sportal scoreboard. And Austin Redden can hold his head high with 2 goals this afternoon. Still a bit of time to play here in the 4th quarter. And back to that ever-present margin of 40 points. If they can get it to a respectable margin, maybe inside 30, they can maybe walk off the ground and hold their heads high. We were told here, of course, by one of the Hamley Bridge faithful that they haven't beaten Balaklava since 2014. Of course, 11 years, but Hamley Bridge are a much improved side. Maybe a couple of years to go before they climb up the ladder. Dixon, though, out of the middle. Pumps it inside forward 50. Players converge on the ball, claiming the mark, and the mark is taken. So a ripping grab there by Connor Buckby. Judd takes the mark. Good chipping ball over the top. He's been excellent, Judd. Extra handball going through the corridor. They have to handball it back over to McCabe. Had Judd moving on the outer side, but he decides to go laterally by hand, and they kick it over to Judd now, and he's able to stay with the play. Beats Michael to the ball. So Judd going inside forward 50, trying to find a player leading at the ball. Does fall in front, nearly taking the mark. Quickly tackled to the ground is McFarlane. There's a defender down there. O'Leary Fletcher took some time to get up. Knocking it down in front. Snapping around his body is Taylor close to goal. Gets knocked to a dangerous position, still close to the goal line. Can a player get to it? They can't. Eventually touches the goalpost through for a minor score. So 52 plays 91 on the Sportal scoreboard. And now inside that 40 points, a 39-point margin to Balaklava. So looking for an option, and in fact called to play on now. Has to go long and has an option. And a good mark taken there by Hendry. Goes long down the line and has a one-on-one contest. Knocked down in front. Trying to get the handball out, but good enough to stick with it there was Robinson. Little chip ball inside, trying to find Arthur, but good enough to stay with it, Simpson. So Simpson going inside, finds an open player and a chance to try and convert on a set shot opportunity, only from about 30 metres out. Not too much angle to speak of, is Josh Bayliss. Not looking to waste any time. If they do think they're any chance in this one, every single set shot needs to be converted. And Bayliss does put it through, so an important goal there. Still cutting into this margin here, Hamley Bridge. Balaklava still with a healthy 33-point margin on the Sportal scoreboard. But Bayliss with a goal, that's important. It's his first goal of the season. And on the Sportal scoreboard now, 58, playing 91. They have certainly played the better footy since quarter time. If you've just joined us or if you've been watching throughout, it was a 54-point margin at quarter time, amazingly. A 10-goal-to-1 first quarter. But since then, Hamley Bridge have come back into this one. A couple quick goals here and it could be on. Knocking it over the back. Warner got his hand on it. Trying to snap it out. Gets smothered. Underneath there is Arthur. Inside there again. Maybe a little bit of high contact there. Quickly handed off by Dixon. Going inside forward 50. Hendry flying for it. Does come out the back. So players have to look at knocking it through and eventually does through Rosenzweig. So through for a minor score there. Rush behind. 34-point advantage for Balaklava. Going long down the line and a climb over the top. Couldn't pull down the mark. Looking to move the ball by hand, and Austin Redden chipping the ball over the top and tackled by Michael. A few people thinking maybe that was a dangerous tackle. So 11 minutes played, or 11 and a half minutes played in this one. Fighting inside there is McCabe. Going to get balled up once again. Underneath, gets fisted over the top there. McCabe running onto it. He's able to rope it in, handball it over the top, looking for Taylor. Arthur's quickly onto it, but he gets tackled over the line. In fact, it may just be inside the line, so they're going to ball it up. Underneath, gets fisted over the top, extra little tap there, and they get to work. Taylor gets tackled and called for the throw, so good pressure there by Butterfield. So they have to look at where they're going to go here. Balaklava, they've conceded a couple goals in a row. Extra little chip pass over the top. Miller has to put the ball in a dangerous position now. They have to retreat. Handball the ball into a dangerous spot. Maybe tackled without the ball. Maybe in the back. Nothing called. Judd gets the handball. And there was a little bit of holding on off the ball. So Luke Guy. Gutschke. Extra handball, and they look to go inside forward 50 through McFarlane, going to the top of the goal square. A one-on-one contest, can't rip down the mark. Well done by the Hamley defenders. And underneath there, Michael holding it in. So they're going to ball it up here, around 40 metres around from Balaklava's goal. Hamley need to score soon. Rosenzweig knocking it down. Quickly onto it. Simpson trying to get the tackle. Gutschke got the handball out. Tackled by Judd and Simpson. So they're going to ball it up right here in front of the commentary truck. Hamley playing good footy here in the second half. Trying to move around. Arthur does well. Handballs it back to Miller. Puts it into a dangerous position. Flying at it. Couldn't quite rip in the mark, and they have to move it quickly. Little chip kick over, and that's a good one. So they're able to get some uncontested ball now. Nick Taylor goes over the top. Contested ball gets thumped out of bounds. So they'll hurl it in around 60 metres around now from Balaklava's goal. They've contested well both sides here since quarter time. It just took Hamley Bridge 30 minutes later to get into the game. And that is all the difference in this one so far. Gets knocked over the top. Taylor, he's able to work his way through and he swats off the tackle. Sends a long ball down the line, and it's a good one marked by Fairley. So he has to go inside forward 50, looking for a lead, and he's got one. Fantastic end-to-end movement for Hamley Bridge. They get a set shot right in front. And it's once again that same goal scorer, and Josh Bayliss, this time right in front. And this to bring it to 28 points. Time may be against them, but they have certainly put on a good performance here and can hold their heads high. So Bayliss on his way in. Ball's on its way. Does put it through Bayliss, so connects on his second goal of the afternoon. Balaklava still with a 28-point advantage. And on the Sportal scoreboard, it's 92, plays 64. Just like that, maybe, just maybe. They still need to kick 5 goals, but if Balaklava put the cue in the rack, maybe they can get back into this game. They've done extremely well here. So, Bayliss, the second multiple goal scorer for Hamley Bridge, as there's a whistle. And it's going to be a free kick paid here, holding on to Taylor, so they get a free kick out of the middle and a chance to go back inside forward 50. They got their tails up here, Hamley Bridge. You can sense there's a little bit of urgency about the way they're going about it. And quickly he gets to work, Taylor, going inside forward 50. Players flying at the ball, picked up there by Bayliss, but couldn't quite hold on to it. McCabe fighting underneath. And 30 metres out from goal. It gets held in. So how do Balaklava play this? Do they look just to save this game, or they keep attacking the way they were at the start of it? Underneath Fairley in the ruck, maybe held off of the ball. They have to try and get the handball out here. Had his hands free, called for holding the ball. Thought he was a bit stiff there. Jackson Delena, he stood up and he shook his head. And they look to move the ball quickly, chipping the ball over the top through Hendry. There's 5 goals so far in this one. 3 of those coming in the first quarter. Has Michael on the lead, chipping it over the top, and he does take the mark. Had a couple Hamley defenders running into each other there, did Michael. Had 3 goals last week versus 2 Wells. And the captain, if there's ever a time to kick a captain's goal, it's now. And Lachlan Michael on his way through. Not much angle to speak of. Just has to pop through a goal to shore up the win for Balaklava. And does kick a minor score. So just through for a behind. Now to a 29 points advantage here for Balaklava. They chip the ball around the outer side and still in a dangerous position here as Ruiz is working his way onto the ball. Has to retreat into battle. Has a short kick inside. Well defended there by McCabe. Does tackle and follow up. Has to try and work his way around it. Does Batty. Extra handball. Miller working his way all the way around to Hendry. The 2 big goal scorers. Batty knocks it down in front. Miller back onto it and out of bounds to Hendry. So good defensive pressure there from Hamley Bridge to stop the goal. So 93 plays 64 on the Sportal scoreboard. As it gets hurled back in. Good throw in there from the boundary umpire. It's knocked down to Batty. Has to turn around 1, turn around 2. Snaps around the body. Goes close to goal. Does go through for a minor score for James Batty. So just like that, it's out to an even 5 goals. And given there is 19 minutes gone in this one, you'd think that would be enough. And 94 plays 64 on the Sportal scoreboard. Godfrey has to retreat and move it back through his defensive line. But they just turn the ball over to Battle. And Balaklava through Gutschke go inside once again. They have a player over the top, couldn't quite rip down the mark. Miller dribbling the ball towards goal. Goes across the face and through for a minor score. So Miller couldn't connect on his 6th goal of the game. All 5 of his goals coming in the first quarter. And a 31-point advantage for Balaklava. Nearly ripping down the mark there for Hamley Bridge, but going inside forward 50 is Gutschke. And they're able to easily take the mark there, Hamley Bridge. Chipping the ball across, Robinson. Will pass over the top and a good mark taken. Rosenzweig. Little chip kick over the top and good contested mark taken. Pulled down for Battle. Good kick into the corridor and a good mark. So Miller had 5 first quarter goals. Have to kick this one from 50. Decides to load up and go long to a dangerous position. Batty has to fight for it. Uses his body well. Turns around one. Tries to snap it through. And does go through for a minor score for Batty. So peppering the goals at the moment. 4 straight behinds here for Balaklava. Now moving out to a 32-point advantage. So 96 now on the Sportal scoreboard, plays 64. Going long now, Hamley Bridge. Bayliss is there, but beats them all, and Battle takes the mark. Comes up limping a bit. Decides to take on Bayliss, even with that limp. Going inside forward 50. It was a good kick, but just out of the reach of the ruckman in Warner. And didn't get a hand on it, so Hamley will get a chance here. They chip the ball through the corridor and they do find Godfrey. Godfrey goes to the outer side. Couldn't quite rip down the mark, but his second effort was good there, Delina. As he's held up. So as the shadows lengthen over the oval, this game winding to a close. It's been an intriguing contest. Once again in the contest here is McCabe. Had the ball free for a moment, but couldn't get it out. Tackled to the ground by Butterfield. Gets thumped. And Hamley now need to move the ball through hand. Judd has a bit of space, has a bounce. Going towards forward 50 and bombing it in long. Has a crack at goal. Maybe could have let it go through. Fairly touches it. And does end up going through for a behind. So Judd, will credit the behind there to Judd. Probably could have been a goal. Now a 31-point margin in favour of Balaklava. So 65 plays 96 on the Sportal scoreboard with the ball up on centre wing. And they look to move it quickly. Gets thumped over the top. Gutschke does well. Handballs the ball back. And just a bit of a hospital ball, only about 30 metres. Comes down in front. Dixon gets the ball. Clean pick up. Goes inside. It's a 2-on-2 and a good mark ripped down by Rosenzweig. Decides to go quickly and drop it down the line to his fellow big man over the top. And quickly picked up. Done well there, Simpson. Gets the handball and, in fact, called for holding the ball. Illegal disposal. So they chip the ball across here to the near side and Arthur takes the mark. Over the top, and Batty takes the mark. So Balaklava, a rare opportunity here to take a set shot inside their forward 50. A lot of their opportunities here in the fourth quarter have come, well, as he decides to chip a ball inside instead. McFarlane's there, come off hands. Winter gets the ball back through Godfrey. Kick's not gone far enough to Taylor, so he moves the ball by hand to the outer side. So had a chance there, Batty, but decided not to go with it. And they did turn the ball over. So now on the outer side here through Samuel McCabe. Just props a ball long in the air. Mark couldn't be pulled down by either side. Falls out the back. Handball over there from the Peckers and trickles out near the boundary line. McCabe couldn't get to it. But he didn't need to get to it as it is a free kick going to the Bombers. Inside forward 50 looking for Winter, fairly leading at the ball. Winter comes up with it. He can dribble through a goal, and he does. Solid afternoon for Winter on the wing. He's worked hard all afternoon. And just like that, they work back to a 25-point margin. So 71 plays 96 on the Sportal scoreboard. It's been a respectable game for Hamley Bridge. If you're a race first quarter, They've been impressive in this one, but even more impressive was Balaklava's first quarter. 10 goals. He put that amount on the board, and it's always going to be hard to come back from for the opposition. As much as they've given it a red-hot crack, Hamley Bridge, all a little too late here. 25 minutes gone in this one. Siren should go at any moment. It hasn't been a great deal of scoring here in the fourth quarter, so you wouldn't expect much time on. Getting the handball out to Taylor, and they go back inside forward 50. Climbing up top and knocking down in front. Winter gets another opportunity. Picks the ball back up on the paint of 50. Has a snap towards goal and beats all. And does go out of bounds. Balaklava to try to bring this game to a close with a surprising 25-point margin. They were far further in front earlier. Had a game-high lead of 60 at the 28-minute mark of the first quarter. They go long to the outer side. McFarlane leading to the football. Takes the mark. Chipping a ball inside to Gutschke. Lobs the ball up to a dangerous position. Batty flying at the ball, can't take the mark. Rosenzweig claiming it, but no mark paid. Comes over the back and quickly tackled. So ball up here. Getting to work. Rosenzweig got his hand on it. Falls to the ground straight away. Godfrey trying to rip it out. Gets wrapped up by Dixon. And another stoppage. So contenders for the player of the game. Definitely was in the hands of Miller in the first quarter. Did a lot there in that first quarter to get it started. And perhaps could give it to him, given the game, where he put the game into a positive position. But I think Lachlan Hendry has been fantastic. Worked his way up the ground a little bit, got a little bit of ball. Taylor chipping the ball out. Miller chips the ball inside, and mark's been taken here. So a chance to try and convert and break that 100 mark here for Balaklava as he's pulled a bit here, Logan Olsen, and he handballed the ball off a little too late. That brings us to full time. It is that 25-point win there, Balaklava, 96-71 on the Sportal scoreboard. In what was a really interesting contest, Olsen pulling up a bit sore there as well. It'd be a bad time to get an injury, only 5 seconds to go in the game. But what an entertaining game that was. It was, as I mentioned a moment ago, it was a 60-point advantage late in the first quarter, and Hamley Bridge, they tried and they clawed right back, and they got it back to that 25-point margin where it ends up. We're going to go and catch the player of the game. I've got to go run out there and get them before they go in the rooms. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the Archie Stongs player of the game. G'day, Lewis. McKenna for filming footy and dartfish here with the player of the game, Adelaide Plains Football League Round 6 game of the round. And it was you, Lachlan Hendry. 5 goals, mate. Your impressive game.
Yeah, no, usually a back liner, mate. So, yeah, don't go up forward very often. But, yeah, got up forward the last couple of weeks and got onto a couple. So
your teammate did incredibly well. 5 goals in the first quarter. I was saying that he had the thongs in his name, but you ripped them off him.
Well, don't know what I did there, but no, Jesus is a very good player. He's, yeah, very good foot and gets onto the scoreboard a bit. So, yeah, he's very skillful.
It was an amazing first quarter. I'd not seen anything like a 60-point advantage in the first quarter. They made a game of it, though, late.
Yes, they did. They always come back late, which is good. They kept their head high. I guess we put our cue in the rack too early, and, yeah, they always tend to come back. And, yeah, that was probably our fault on our behalf. But
well, these are size 9, 15. I've got some size 15s in the truck, so I'll go swap them over. But just for the presentation, there you go, mate. Thank you. Great game. Cheers.
Thank you.
No worries. Thanks for watching Filming Footy. My name's Lewis McKenna. Dino behind the camera. It's been great. We'll see you next week. Awesome. I'll go grab them for you, mate. I'll be 1 sec.